Hello, my name is Chris Horn, and for my web-based design for multimedia design for educators blog post number 3, I'd like to take an example of a design element and comment on at least 10 rules coming from our readings in week 3 and explain why particular rules were not followed. And the example I'm going to use is a Facebook posting that was advertising a particular social event coming up as part of homecoming activities, unofficial homecoming activities at Florida A&M University, or FAMU. So what you'll see here is a posting of the particular Facebook post advertising this particular event. And outside of the text, if you look down at the picture itself, the graphic here, you'll see there's a picture of a woman with text behind her. There's shading of the woman to kind of, I guess, to insinuate a spotlight on the woman. However, if you look at the picture, and in fact, we'll go to looking at it a little closer, you'll see it's actually several elements that aren't very good in the design that I wanted to bring attention to in this discussion. Number one, um, all the text is in bold. It's all caps. It's shouting. And in fact, because of the all caps and the different sizing of the text, while you can make out FAMU homecoming, the date, the whatever this is at the top talks about the events, and the address at the bottom is actually very difficult to read when compared to the other text. And especially if you go back to the Facebook posting itself, this is barely incomprehensible, and but it's important information around the location of where this event is being held. For all this advertising about this event being held on Thursday, October 12th, if you don't know where to go, it doesn't really help. Number two, the balance. The picture itself is really heavily weighted. The picture is much heavier than the text in the background, and as a result, it kind of weights the eye to just focus on the model in the picture and not pay attention to anything else that's in the background. So you really lose sight of everything else in the Facebook posting when you look at the model, and you either have to read the information up here, but inside of the visual design element, that really gets lost. The words get lost between the model and the shading. Number three, the proximity. Because the picture lays over and covers up much of the text, you really can't read a lot of the words, such as homecoming, kickoff, um, Thursday, and then number four, you'll see that there's differences in the alignment, that the text is left center, left edge justified and right edge justified at the top, and then here at the bottom, but in the middle it's kind of centered and stretched out to make the text bigger. So there's different examples, and then the text at the very bottom is then centered again. So the text is kind of going in, out, in, out, in, out to try and go around the model that's featured prominently in the center. Number four, we talked about the contrasting of the different font sizes that makes the small print very difficult to read. Number five, this logo down here at the bottom, because there's nothing in the other three corners, this logo looks like it was thrown on at the last minute. In fact, it's actually a logo around a concert called Funk Fest that's being held as part of the homecoming activities. And if you look at it again from the actual post on Facebook, the logo is even smaller and more difficult to read, and it looks further out of place because it doesn't match the color scheme of orange or green. It doesn't connect with anything. It's like it's just over there as an orphan all to itself. Number six, striking image. The image itself, it's very particular. The model is very well dressed with very large heels and a sequenced outfit, a sequenced cat suit with tassels on the side of her legs. And is this indicative of the expected attire for this event? Would this be a turnoff for women to attend if they're expected to wear 4 or 5 inch stiletto heels and a cat suit? Would this be a distraction for men that would come to this event expecting women to look like this, or is this advertising suggesting that this is actually the type of woman that would actually be there? Number seven, the shadowing. Um, it's not really necessary because it's not like you're spotlighting anything else, and certainly the woman was very well lighted anyway, but the shadow morphs shows some distortion in this area versus the shadow here shows a legitimate foot, and it makes it again harder to read some of the text behind it. So it really does more harm than good in the particular visual elements here. The picture makes the woman not seem proportionate because of all the text being squeezed here. It makes the woman seem a lot taller than the text, almost to elongate the woman and make her seem, 7, 8, 10 feet tall, which is certainly a distortion of the normal proportions of people. The location logo at the Edison, this is where this event is being held, and in particular, the Edison is a nice logo, but it doesn't match anything else. And if at a minimum, the address of the Edison should be colored the same as the Edison to connect the address with the logo rather than being connected with the for more information component. If this is a Funk Fest kickoff, the Funk Fest is actually an outdoor concert venue being held on an intramural field where you bring your own chair and you sit out there or you sit on the ground with a blanket. And certainly people going to Funk Fest aren't wearing this. So knowing the audience, is this actually the group, the kind of people that you would want to, this is how you'd want to advertise to people going to an outdoor concert? Maybe not. And then lastly, number 10, there's no border on the outside of this advertisement. If you look at it both from a full Facebook perspective, you can see a slight border there, but it's very thin. It kind of bleeds in. And even then, the model distortion being kind of elongated and stretched kind of further distorts the value of the border, just kind of framing it so that it has a particular look. And these were the 10 items I found regarding issues with this particular visual media. Thank you.